Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Post-Race Conversations here from Circuit of the Americas. I'm Tanner Marlar alongside Wyatt Watson, Stephen Stumpf. We just wrapped up the Echo Park, Texas Grand Prix, and guys, really different race. You know, only 2 cautions, and those weren't even natural cautions. They were the stage cautions, Wyatt.
There was just no instance today that were worthy of throwing a full course yellow. We had a couple spins in turn 1, turn 12 with Kobayashi and Stenhouse getting together. Keselowski was a notable guy that spun a few times, and there's plenty of drivers that had a little spin here and there. Bell got involved with a couple get-togethers too, but you know, there's just no big wrecks out there. So one of those incident-free races today.
Yeah, just a wild circumstance, Stephen.
Yeah, after we saw how last year's race ended, and it seemed like the race would never ever end. It was quite the whiplash to get a race that was like almost completely clean and run 35 laps to the end. But I know some people may not be fans of those races, and the cars got very spread out. But running it to the end did allow us to get a pretty unique battle for the win because William Byron dominated the day. He won the pole. He led 42 laps. But it's Christopher Bell who pitted 4 laps later for his final pit stop, and he was running the top 3 down with those fresh tires. He worked by Alex Bowman. He worked by Ty Gibbs, made it to second. He was over 10 seconds behind Byron with 10 to go. And as the checkered flag waved, he finished just 7/10 behind him. With one more lap, he might have made it a battle. He might have gotten by, but Byron did just enough to conserve, his tires and hold on. And then it was behind them. It was Ty Gibbs equaling his best finish of his career in 3rd. Bowman scored back-to-back top 5s in 4th, and then Reddick, who won last year's race, finished 5th.
Yeah, and another driver that Christopher Bell had to get by was Kyle Busch, and he did it in a bit of an extracurricular fashion, kind of punted Busch into a corner, and KB came up to him after the race, and they had a friendly conversation. I don't know if I would necessarily call it friendly, but it just goes to show over the course of these long runs how heated some of those battles can be, Wyatt.
Well, it's friendly like old Rowdy Busch would be, right? But yeah, it's those get-togethers and just it gets rowdy out there. It gets crazy. So and Sparks and Tempers Flare get out there on the pit road. I also believe Truex and Busch talked a little bit too, and Truex had a little moment too out there on pit road. He wasn't happy with I'm assuming Busch or somebody out there. So road courses can do that to drivers just like at short tracks.
Yeah, absolutely. And Stephen, when you see these long runs like that, talk about kind of the effect that can have on these drivers and their bodies.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, we look back to Indianapolis last year, which went 77 laps to the end. And in terms of time, it was almost 2 hours, from the restart to the checkered flag. I mean, you have to be at a very high level to do this, but you have to be at an advanced high level just to make it 2 hours. And for example, in this race, temperatures were pretty cool, but again, it's just grueling, having 20 turns for each of the 35 laps at the end. And as you talked to him, Corey LaJoie obviously wasn't feeling too hot after the end of this one.
Yeah, I got to talk to Corey afterwards. He came out of the infield care center, and he said that when he got out of the car, he moved his chin down, and his entire body cramped up. Like he said, really goes to show the physical toll that these races can take on these drivers. That's about all the time we've got here from Circuit of the Americas. That wraps up this week's Post-Race Conversations. We will see you guys in Richmond.
This is Harrison Burton, driver the number 21. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check out one of these 2 videos beside me. Visit frontstretch.com for more racing content.